Howdy, Angela.
Hi.
Happy Wednesday. I guess
Does anybody say that?
it's not really a Wednesday. Like, it's not really a happy Wednesday, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, they say happy hump day, don't they? Isn't that what they say?
Do they?
Isn't a hump? Yeah, don't they at the office?
Oh, because it's almost the weekend? It's
Yeah.
like halfway to the weekend?
Right.
We're halfway there because everybody in the office is miserable.
The gang's all here. Check it out. We got Guilty Angel. We got Shannon. We got Erica. We got Bobo, Delicate. Foz is here. What's up, Foz?
It's a whole
So
crowd.
good to see you. Yeah, we're killing it already, and we haven't even begun. And it's like a low key day, super low key day. But it does give me some opportunities to talk about some stuff that's on my mind. How's your day?
Busy. It's good to be here.
Are you glad to be here?
Yeah. It's gorgeous weather where we live, so that has been really nice. To be have the windows, doors open. Just feel
I know
the breeze.
it's the Philadelphia Phillies are playing the New York Mets in New York. New York Mets are one game away from sweeping the series. They've won 2 games in a row against us. It's been horrible. The
My
first one was a
condolences.
blowout. Oh, it's the only thing worse is when the Eagles lose to the Cowboys. Which when was that? Like it's been a long while. It's been a minute. But 73 degrees in New York. And I was like, wow, what that must be like, I've only ever been in New York in the winter,
Yeah.
and it was cold. And then in the summer when it was like scorching hot. I've never had like a perfect day, like weather-wise, where I could go to like Central Park or something. I've never had one of those.
Yeah, but then like when there is one, everybody else has the same idea. So everything is just like massively crowded.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But yeah, it's a beautiful, perfect day. We have the
Fall's
windows open.
autumn is my favorite season. Do you have one?
Autumn. It's
I look forward to it every year, all year long.
It's interesting that it's out. Demons here. It's interesting that that it's autumn.
It
because
might be Damon.
Damon Child.
Yeah.
You think it's Damon Child?
Well, it's DAE.
That's like a Demon Child.
Yeah.
1977. 48 years old. All right, listen. What I'm saying is, what was I saying? Before you corrected me.
I was just talking about how much I love autumn, and I wait for it all year long.
I was saying that it's funny that it's autumn as the like I think that's a lot of people's favorite season, unless you're a kid, because then it's fucking summer definitely.
Yeah.
Because there's no damn school. I mean, if
Yeah.
it would be winter if there was no school in winter.
Right. That's true. I always hated summer. I don't like it being hot.
Shannon says it's right. She says it's the best for weather and fashion.
Oh, yes.
It's true, man. Sweater weather, man.
It's true.
We all look like it's true, especially as you age. You look much less appealing in t-shirts than you did when you were like, what do they call that? Skinny and out of shape. They have a name for that.
Oh, skinny fat?
Skinny fat. The way I used to fill out my shirts when I was just skinny fat. Oh my goodness.
So?
Let me get to some stuff straight away. Oh look, the crybaby great white owl scene is still up from yesterday.
You're the crybaby?
Baby, yeah, I'm the big baby.
Don't be a crybaby.
I think I got daddy issues, and I shouldn't read them. I shouldn't read scenes that have my dad in them. Like if I do write the childhood memoir, we might, we probably should like definitely not have me read it all out, because I'll probably be like a sobbing mess.
Yeah, you'll do a audiobook and it'll have like sniffles all the way throughout.
Exactly.
You try to edit them out, but every breath is like hitching.
Yeah, exactly. All these big long pauses, just like nobody knows what's happening. You can't even hear me breathe.
You just hear like someone blowing their nose in the distance because you had to step away.
And then you just hear some horrible, like, weak apology. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, crap. What was I going to say? I can't even remember. Doesn't matter. Do you want to start with the Cardi B on trial here?
Yeah, sure. Hang on a second, though. Fazia's...
Yeah.
Faz, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fazia or Fuzz?
My sister said, I just don't understand why Baldoni, who worked on the film for years, would suddenly SH someone. What's the motive? That's delightful.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. Because, you know, like, he probably didn't have a motive necessarily. He probably had a habitual problem. He probably had you know, when I was working with Anthony Robbins, he teaches like a lot of neurolinguistic programming, and then they have like these like levels of consciousness that go all the way up into unconscious competence. And unconscious competence is the kind of competence that where you've done things so many times and so well for so long that you don't even have to think about doing it anymore. It comes completely naturally to you. You can carry on conversations. It's kind of like what happens as you start out as a student driver and you're white knuckle gripping the 10 and 2, and you're just like, you won't take your eyes off your mirrors. And if somebody talks to you, you tell them to like slow down or shut up because you got to concentrate. Cut to 10 years later, and you got a cigarette in one hand, a beer in the other, and you're steering with your fucking knee, and you're talking about the movie you just watched last night, while you're watching another one on your dash.
Yeah.
Unconscious competence. I think that Justin Baldoni, is unconsciously competent at being a misogynist. I think his misogyny is even deeper than he realized when he thought that he could just whitewash it really quickly through a couple of TED Talks and a podcast and a bunch of admissions. But instead, he's, I think, coming face to face with the reality that his misogyny is a deep-seated problem for him, one that went deeper than he might have first wanted to admit or cared to admit.
Here's my take on it. This is a really great question. I love this. I don't understand why Baldoni, who worked on the film for years, would suddenly SH someone. What's the motive? I feel like this guy probably went through his entire life trying to fit in and trying to say the most clever, maybe provocative thing in his friend group. Okay. He talks a lot about his insecurity about fitting in with people in his memoir all throughout his childhood. It's like an issue for him. So I think this guy just developed this way that he feels like he's gotten great rewards socially for like admitting to things, like divulging things, like confessing to things. Right. And then they're like, oh, you're so brave for talking about this issue that's usually taboo and that we don't usually talk about. What he's doing is like admitting to having harmed people, but like, he wants to be better and he wants to do better. He also is reflected a lot in his therapy. He's like engages with therapy a lot, and in his religion too. He's got this prayer group that's always mirroring back to him about how he's actually a good person, regardless of what situation he's in, that he's protected and he's
we
good.
hear Jamie Heath doing it in Men Enough podcasts.
Yes. So
and
he's got this.
Jimmy Heath, in case you don't know, Jimmy Heath and Justin Baldoni and Steve Surowitz all come from the same religious organization called the Baha'i Faith. And they're both actually high-ranking, or all three of them are high-ranking in the Baha'i faith in terms of, I guess, congruence and...
I guess it's how much money you donate.
Yeah, it's all about, swag.
Anyway, what I was saying was...
Swagger.
Here he is in a situation where he's climbed the rungs professionally enough that he is in charge of a place. So he no longer has to worry about whether he's fitting in. He's the guy who's other people have to fit in with. So I think he took that leadership position and it got to his head and he thought fully that he's like, oh, nobody's going to criticize me here. I can just be who I am and say what I want to say. This is my set and this is my set culture. And so I'm going to just be loose-lipped and we're going to say things like, hey, that looks sexy. And we're going to say things like, hey, let's bring everybody in for a hug. And then when somebody complains, it's their problem because they're trying to fit in. They need to fit in with me and my culture. Me and Jamie Heath are running this set and you guys need to fit in or you aren't fitting in. Yeah. But what he didn't realize was that as an employer, by law, he has obligations to address people's complaints according to a protocol.
Well, I think I think you actually jumped ahead of the actual problem while at the same time hitting the problem before you moved on, which is that, he didn't really think or believe that what he was doing was wrong or that it was sensitive or that it was, he just didn't, I don't think that he looks through the lens of culpability when it comes to, unless it serves him in some way.
Yeah, because there are people who are like, okay, I've achieved boss status.
Yeah.
This gives me privileges. Especially if you're talking about a movie set, like he has definitely observed how different sets have different set culture. Yeah. So he probably think he could create his own.
Well, I don't know. He hasn't, his experience isn't as vast as it may seem. He was on one show. So, right? He was on that.
No, he was,
WB
he also
show.
starred in a movie, but it was like a little thing.
I'm saying it's not as vast as we think. It's not like, he hasn't made 40 movies. He hasn't been on 40 completely, totally different cultures.
No,
He's been on like primarily he's been on a show that lasted a few years, which becomes more like an office day job. There are certainly a number of new people that come into the show, not only just actors, but also crew.
It's true, but all of his friends are actors too. So he probably has like a little bit more, he's like gleaned more experience from them, and
yeah.
I don't know. This is just my theory. I just feel like that's what happened. And that it to me, that explains why he's so fucking loose-lipped.
Yeah.
Like, it's a crazy way to talk in a workplace when you're the boss.
Yeah.
But so I think that he must have just thought that he's in charge, so he gets to decide what's acceptable and what isn't.
Yeah, I don't think he had a great deal of experience. I think he had, or exposure. Maybe he had experience, but he didn't really have a lot of exposure. And I think that in that limited amount of exposure, and I think that's particularly true when it comes to him being in charge, him being the man. Because he wasn't the man when he was on his TV show. And he might have been, and the only other instance that he might have been a man was in 5 Feet Apart, potentially. And that would have also been, again, where he was sort of in the driver's seat as far as, but he wasn't starring in that. So we had no real conflict there in terms of, and here's the thing where I think that we might have a bit of a difference of circumstance that might have contributed to his destabilization of his own personal security in the situation, because he became wildly insecure, and I think the texts are plainly clear of that.
I think so
he
too.
lost complete total control, and I think part of it is that he got way out of his depth by being a director, a producer, and a star, not just an actor with playing a small role. We're talking about the lead, and he's not only the lead, but he's the lead, across from one of the biggest movie stars of our time right now, right? In terms of female movie star, she was top of the food chain, top 5, I don't know, whatever. She was big enough to greenlight films for Sony Studios. So she's that big. And we all know Blake Lively is a pretty huge name, and we know that not just because of her films prior to It Ends With Us, but It Ends With Us itself was a massive fucking hit.
Yeah. I don't think that anybody considered him the star. He would be, like, if he was nominated, he would be supporting actor,
No, he would be the leading, I think he's the leading male role in It Ends With Us. And she's the leading female role. Pretty sure I think that's the movie's about those two. And Atlas, the other guy, it would be the supporting guy.
I know that Colleen Hoover, when she talks about this, she talks about how it's Lily and Atlas are the two, like, main characters, and then, but I don't disagree with you.
Go back and forth about this all fucking day.
Most of the book involves Lily's relationship with Ryle, so I'm not sure why.
My understanding is that it's a Lily Ryle movie. Maybe I'm wrong, but I still think he's over his head. Is the point that I'm trying to make? We don't really have to really hold me that accountable to it, but just because it doesn't really matter. It's all the same if Justin Baldoni is in over his head, if he's out of his depth and he's across from somebody that is too much for him to handle. I think it allowed him to sort of slip out of sorts. I think it allowed him to.
I think he also had
lose his confidence.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think also I don't think that he fares very well in creative disagreements. I think that he was involved in creative disputes with Sony. And I also think that maybe, I'm suspecting, there isn't any evidence about this, but this is just my theory, that the reason why Blake Lively was so compelled to sort of understand what was going on with the edit and then talk to Sony about what was going on with the edit was because I think that she was really alarmed that he filmed a sex scene with teenagers that wasn't in the script and wasn't in the book and wasn't ever planned. And I think that she was like, I don't want to be a part of a movie where there's a teenager sex scene. And I don't think Sony wants to be putting out a movie where there's a teenager sex scene. So I'm going to give them a heads up about it early so that we can do something about it before deadlines are missed. I think that may have been like a main driver.
It clearly was, because it's in the lawsuit. It's been brought up multiple times. We just had this huge thing with the actor whose name escapes me at the moment.
Isabel Ferrer. But nobody is saying why Blake Lively wanted to see the dailies, why she wanted to get involved in the edit. Nobody's saying that. And so that's my theory.
I couldn't disagree with that theory more. I think
Why?
she wanted to, because I think she wanted to get involved with the film creatively. I think she wanted to be, she spoke about it at the Forbes thing at length just before she signed on to be a part of It Ends With Us. I think she talks about authorship ad nauseum. I think it's clearly that she has a motivation to be involved with it.
But why do you think that they would be fighting about it? Why do you think that he would be so defensive about her being involved? And why do you think she would push it once he's defensive? Unless there's like a bigger reason. I don't know. I'm curious. It's just a theory.
Why do I think... I'm sorry, the question again?
I was wondering why you think, if it's just because she wants creative input, why do you think Justin Baldoni was so defensive? He also is in text messages talking about how he's sad that he lost that scene. He refers to it as the gasp. So, fuck. So gross. So I think that he may have had that in mind when she was getting into the edit. Maybe he didn't want her to have an opinion about it. I don't know. It's just my theory.
I guess we could sit around and pretend, or whatever, speculate about whether or not there was just this one thing. I think that was one of many things. I think that one thing might be something he recognized retrospectively as something very dangerous for his story and very dangerous for his problem. But I don't think that it was the center of both of their universes. I think that it was one more thing that added up to a bunch of things that finally caused that production to snap. But again, I don't think he had any kind of motivation. I'm
just curious about because Sony seemed like they sided with Blake on this issue.
On which issue?
Of being involved in the edit. And do you think that they sided with? Do you think they saw it first before they were like, "Hey, Blake Lively, can we lean on you a little bit to help us out with a theatrical cut?" Or do you think that she told them about something first?
I think that they recognized that they were in a situation where they didn't have a true producer that would truly liaison between the production and the studio. So, the producers, the main producers of the film, also were Wayfarer producers. So they only had that one whose name you know by heart, who's got the cool name for Sony.
Oh, Sony producer Ange Giannetti. She does have a very cool name.
Ange Giannetti. Well, let me finish. So yeah. Ange Giannetti is, wouldn't suffice to be that liaison. She would be, so she's a liaison to the studio. But I'm talking about that producer that the studio confides in creatively and to whom they can speak candidly.
That's probably Todd Black. He did a lot of.
But he came later. So to whom he came from Blake Lively. Okay. So at the time before Blake Lively, I think what Sony came up to or finally came to realize.
He has a first look deal at Sony, so Sony definitely knows him.
I'm not saying they didn't know him.
Okay.
Everybody knows him. He's an Academy Award nominated or Academy Award winning producer. He's a well-known producer. That's not the issue. What I'm talking about is that Sony recognized a lack of an individual that they could confide in without getting, the kind of feedback that you would expect from a director, because the director-studio relationship is not what people might think it is. It is not this like kumbaya, buddy, locked elbows. No,
and you can see that Jamie Heath is treating these Sony emails as if they're like a fucking problem for him or something. It's really crazy. The way that Jamie Heath has he definitely has like a defensive posture with them. Like he's not like, when they're saying like you're not playing ball. Well, he hadn't really been playing ball for like weeks. When you read the emails that they're sending back and forth, Jamie Heath is always kind of like not really eager to work with Sony. It's so strange. Like, wouldn't he want to make friends with like the majors? I don't get it.
Well, you're actually bringing up an interesting point, because I've been thinking about this all day, as a matter of fact, just intermittently throughout the day. And that is that I think that these guys, so one of the things that, is on the thumbnail right now is like, what is going on here? Like, we have a blatant lie made to characterize Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. in a feud when the two men have never even met in person. So that lie, of course, born from some kind of some kind of report about some kind of incident on the set where names were not mentioned.
Right. And they call those a blind item in the tabloids. And
now, look, it could be that it's just thank you for that. It could be that it's just these fucking crazed, lunatic fucking so-called creators on these various platforms that just want to like run with everything and turn it into a Ryan Reynolds is a bad guy story.
Bingo.
Or it could be, you can say bingo, or it can be Brian Friedman calling up 4 or 5 of them and saying, jump on this. I'm telling you right now, it's Robert Downey Jr. and it's blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, I can't confirm this, but word is in Hollywood that. Because the idea that it's just these creators who are sitting around and like waiting for some news to come out of a set to come up with this fucking story.
Oh, you're saying that like
seems far-fetched to me.
Like Melissa Nathan is like, hey, there's a story that's out. We want you guys to run it.
Brian Friedman is like, hey, there's a story that's out that you should grab onto. I can't confirm it, with you. But
why are you insisting that it would be Brian Friedman and not the publicists?
I mean, okay, sure. The publicist doesn't really matter. I say Brian Friedman because Brian Friedman already has these inroads and he's already trying to hide behind these different privileges and he's trying to like be this sort of, but it doesn't matter. I mean, it's the point is, it doesn't matter who's fucking doing it. It's that it could be happening. And I've been thinking about it all day because, theoretically, it makes a lot of sense, right? It floats in terms of theory just because of the behavior that we've seen by Brian Friedman in the past and by their whole group. So, because it just seems far-fetched that, again, now it is possible, and I can't rule it out. I certainly cannot rule out that one, a Signal or somebody ran with some stupidity story. I went into TikTok to look it up. You would not fucking believe the number of videos of these people who can confirm that there was a blowout between Ryan Reynolds and between Robert Downey Jr. and Ryan Reynolds is loathed on the set. Like this is the shit that I'm seeing. This after the fact.
And they're saying that can confirm.
Like,
and then meanwhile, the guy who broke the story in the first place, who actually witnessed the thing, is saying that he was not going to identify who they were, but he's clarified that it is not those two people.
By the way, it also took me down another little rabbit hole where I saw this. I guess it was a guy who worked with Ryan on, and I guess this interview blew up a while ago. He was on the, who's that guy, that like kind of loser dude who, Adam Carolla, the Adam Carolla show. Do you know who Adam Carolla is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got this show called the Adam Carolla Show.
Okay.
And it's
like a podcast?
Yeah, it's a podcast. 3 mics. And then there's
it's just a bunch of comedians talking or something?
Yeah, I suppose. And on the show was this actor who worked with Ryan Reynolds, presumably in one of the Deadpools or whatever. And this guy's like, he's like, I'll never work with Ryan again, was the big like headline. And then he talked all the shit about it and about Ryan. And it's so interesting because I was watching this, like, it's okay, I'll watch his interview. Let's see what this guy's saying.
Was this TJ Miller?
Is that his name? TJ Miller, probably. I don't know. I don't know him by face. I was like,
okay, so here's the story.
Why does
here's what
anybody
actually
even work
happened.
with this guy in the first place?
They keep running
he must
this.
be talented because he seems like a fucking loser to me. But
okay, listen.
Yeah, TJ Miller, is that what you said?
Yeah, this was from a long time ago.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it was TJ Miller. Yeah.
Okay,
but he was like he seemed like he had a little more weight on him.
So TJ Miller was.
Well, let me finish what I'm saying because I want to. I'll get to my point. I know I've taken the long road, but this guy shows up. I watch everything he says. This guy sounds like a piece of shit. So this guy's
TJ Miller?
Yeah, this guy's talking shit about Ryan Reynolds. And then he's telling Adam Carolla, he's like, I may like Ryan Reynolds again. I didn't like Michael Bay, but I like Michael Bay now. And then like right about like there, he says, Michael Bay had some really choice things to say about Ryan Reynolds. This fucking pile of trash. And I'm going to call him that right now because who the fuck does this? He's on a podcast. Like I sit around and I'm worried about, Leo's got his foot on my neck. We know that. But, I'm worried about my reputation. This guy's fucking on a podcast with Adam Carolla dragging Michael Bay into this conversation. Michael Bay's at home like fucking, counting minnows or I don't know, whatever he does, counting his koi fish. I don't know. Michael Bay, blowing something up in his backyard. Who the fuck knows what he's doing?
Probably. That sounds like something Michael Bay would do.
But he wasn't at that podcast.
You're hilarious.
He wasn't involved in a conversation that had to do with his relationship, that's between him and Ryan Reynolds, right?
Do they have a relationship?
Well, whatever. Yeah, some kind of, they work together. So there's that relationship. Yeah.
On what?
I don't know. He said they work together.
Okay.
I don't follow these careers.
I'm going to look this up now. Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like this guy was like, it's like, this guy acted like a total piece of shit to me, in my opinion. This guy was a piece of shit. Just by virtue of the fact that not only is he sitting there like putting this laundry out for no reason, and the only thing he didn't like was that apparently they did a scene together, and I guess there was something between them, some tension between them.
There's a movie called Six Underground,
and then they went and did this scene where then. Together, where then Ryan Reynolds like verbally assaulted him, but in character. And then apparently after it was all over, like he was like really like hitting on him in real in character or whatever. Gestalt therapy is basically what they were calling it, but not knowing so. And that afterward he had, this guy, TJ, whatever his name is, talked with other cast members and they were all like, wow, that was weird, man. I never saw anybody do anything like that before. And they were just all fucking strange about it.
Actor and comedian TJ Miller has faced multiple accusations of misconduct, including sexual assault, physical violence, and making a false bomb threat. So I remember when this came out, that he was like trashing Ryan Reynolds for berating him or something. And I think what I saw online was everybody was like, yeah, Ryan Reynolds was right. Doesn't matter what he said, yeah. Ryan Reynolds was right in this situation.
This guy's just a pile of trash.
Also, if you listen to that interview, TJ Miller said that he called him up the next day and apologized, and so now they're cool. But of course, they didn't run that headline. They didn't run the headline that TJ Miller was like, "Yeah, man, no harm, no foul."
Yeah, it's so funny that they're saying no harm, no foul because like I watched the interview and not only did he call out Ryan Reynolds in a totally like shitty way, but also called out Michael Bay, like to pull somebody in like that. So easily.
I don't think this guy could help his career anyway, so he might as well just mouth off.
No, I mean, clearly he's trash. Austin's here, by the way.
He has denied the allegations of sexual assault, but he apparently can't deny the bomb threat part.
There aren't a lot of guys who are like, yeah, that's me. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of guys who, oh, yeah, I remember that. Yep. I did it. That was me.
Yep.
Yeah, I was going to wear a mask and I didn't wear a mask. I should have worn a mask. It was me.
Austin said Ryan Reynolds calls out the predators.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, it's just all trash coming out of these people's mouths. And there's nothing even warranted.
Okay, but I want to go back to the story that I just think is so fascinating. So some guy said that there was a conflict on the set of a new Marvel movie. Yeah. And between two actors. Or did he even say that much? He just said there was like some two people got into a fight.
I honestly don't know what he said.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, but didn't name them. And everybody started running with the story that it was between Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. And then the guy who originally broke the story had to come out and be like, no, it wasn't those people. God damn it. I didn't say who it was, but now I have to clarify because you guys are idiots and you're running with this fucking defamation of these two people who are not involved in this. And then other people have come out and said that they've never even met each other. So you guys are stupid. And I just thought this was so fascinating because when you think about the effect that Justin Baldoni and his flying monkeys, right? This is what they say like about abusers. Is that they have if they can get like a crew of people to back them, then they don't actually have to do any of the abuse. It's the crew that ends up doing it. It's like these secondary abusers that go out and it
happened to me.
They're like enforcers. And I know that I've heard this sort of story. Like I've watched crime shows where people have like a stalker or something and they can't even get into a new relationship because their new partner is going to have to get stalked too because they have a stalker who's so rabid and won't leave them alone. So then their abusers are going to abuse their new partner too. So they end up having to like self-isolate in order to protect other people that they love. It's really fucked up. But that's exactly what's happening with Ryan Reynolds. So even if he did have some sort of association with Robert Downey Jr., now these fucking flying monkeys of Justin Baldoni's are going to go and attack Robert Downey Jr. or whoever's next. Whoever Ryan Reynolds wants to work with next is going to be labeled as a fucking persona non grata by these fucking idiots who just have no reason to hate these people except for what they've been told by fucking Melissa Nathan and her fucking social combat plan. And so, but it reminded me of exactly what was happening to you. When you guys had your dispute about Don's Plum, Tobey Maguire and his friends, he turned them all into flying monkeys that made people not want to associate with you guys because they would endure abuse. You tell this story in your book.
There would be repercussions, yeah.
Yes, you tell this story in your book about Joel Miley went to a film festival with you guys and got berated by Tobey Maguire in this big industry event.
Yep.
And it was for associating with you.
It was severe that he literally was hospitalized.
Yeah, and Tobey Maguire made sure everybody in that party knew that he was berating this guy because of his association to you guys.
Correct.
And didn't was it an agent who contacted Artie's mom and said, I would never touch your son?
It is the person who I believe currently or recently runs used to run WME.
It's Phil Raskin,
Phil
right?
Raskin, yeah.
So Phil Raskin was at this industry event, witnessed Tobey Maguire berating Joel Miley about you guys.
Yes.
For berating him for associating with you guys, supporting you.
Correct.
And then Phil Raskin calls Artie Rob's mother, and says, your son has a problem. I would never touch him because I would never want to get berated like I saw that guy get berated. This is exactly what Justin Baldoni's fucking doing, where he's sending out all of these flying monkeys to go and fucking attack people, and it makes it risky to do business or hang out with or befriend Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And this is a fucking classic abuser's tactic. This is how they isolate them.
Yeah, no, this is very much what I feel like is going on. And it got me thinking about, which brings me all the way back to when you started this, which is, I think they just burnt the house down. I think they hate Hollywood.
Who's they?
Jamie Heath, the Baha'i Faith. I think that they're at odds with Hollywood in general. And I think that they're torching it. Like, what are you doing? Like, first of all, I mean, it's just insanity. Now, this, of course.
Well, you know that like religious conservatives are in conflict with like the majority of Hollywood, right? That's why.
Oh, I know.
That's why like the faith-based film industry is all like anti-Hollywood, but they need their distributors. You know, it's just so weird. It's this whole persecution complex.
The biggest faith-based distributor in Hollywood is a gay man.
Of course, he's like, hey, the money's still green.
Who lives with his husband?
Yeah.
With their child they adopted.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Kid's probably 18.
Well, good for him, man. It's good. Good to profit.
But seriously, it's so weird because like when I made my faith-based film, I know this guy because this guy was a big fan of Don's Plum, and he actually tried to buy the project behind me called Deportation, and he's the owner of Roadside Attractions. His name is Eric Darbeloff, wonderful fucking human being on the planet Earth. Absolutely adore this man. Anyway, he's the biggest faith-based distributor in the business.
But I think that
gay dude.
These like these religious people, you know,
they just don't know it.
Well, when they're who doesn't know what
the religious people, they just don't know. It's like vegetarians, like, you know, eating cheese with rennet. You know what I mean? It's just they just don't know what they're doing. It's pretty hilarious.
I was just going to say that it might be that these Baha'i folks have a persecution complex. Because you hear that a lot from these like faith-based filmmakers and like the actors who work on these projects. They're always talking in terms of being like canceled, misunderstood, you know, criticized.
Yeah, under attack.
Yeah, exactly.
Constantly under attack. Being judged is a big one.
Yeah, they're silenced, but they're always talking about it. So I just feel like it's really easy for these very wealthy Baha'i people like the Baldoni and Heath and Sarowitz to sort of fall into that same pattern, or maybe deliberately sink into that pattern of persecution by Hollywood. You know, who knows, man?
It's bizarre to me.
I mean, that would explain why there's such like three raccoons in a fucking sack, you know, like scratching and spitting at everybody, you know? Like, what the fuck, dude? Oh my God, consequences for your own actions. God forbid you let anybody do that. Well,
but it does. I mean, just to get back to that original point, is I really think that these guys have kind of thrown in the towel. They threw in the towel a long time ago. I think they knew that they blew it so beyond repair that they might as well just torch the whole thing to the ground, because I just can't believe that they've allowed this to get this far. I know it assumes that
too, like trying to badger Ryan Reynolds on his next projects. Like they're planning on following him everywhere he fucking goes and continue to punish him for what? For like yelling at Baldoni in a meeting 3 years ago?
And remember, one of the
What
biggest
fuck?
criticisms Donald Trump faced was that he didn't tell them to not to stop, right? On January 6th, he didn't tell them to stop. And this is where I'm at with Justin Baldoni. Like at no point has Justin Baldoni stopped any of this from happening. You know, we know that whoever it was that made it up. Ryan Reynolds and Robert Downey Jr. have never even met. So we know it was a lie. And a deliberate lie can only be a deliberate lie. There's no, you know, unless the original source was, you know, at some point somebody lied.
It's an excellent example, though, because here this guy is saying it's absolutely not true and in fact could not be true. And you see how many of these content creators ran with that story. They had no verification. They had no truth to report on. They completely made it up, fabricated entirely.
Yeah.
And they fucking ran with it.
They ran with it.
And so it just goes to show how fucking trustworthy these people are. This is what they're doing with everything.
When you say ran with it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing on TikTok. I could not believe it.
Every single one of those people do not care if they're telling a story that is corroborated by any facts.
They don't care
whatsoever.
Nope, they don't care.
It's such a perfect
They're just
example.
feeding
Like they just
frenzy.
fucking took the mask all the way off. You know, they just dropped their masks. They're like, we're just going to talk bullshit and make people's lives miserable and punish people with complete lies. But yeah, sure, Ryan Reynolds is a bad guy.
It's crazy. I don't know what I did to the algorithm, but we only have 20 views tonight, so it's going to be a like nice intimate evening with our friends.
Nice.
Seems. Yeah. I ran with Cardi B. I just changed it. I put Cardi B as the headline.
Okay.
And then I just switched that to the second headline, and I put Baldoni up front.
Oh, you can edit live?
Yeah.
That's neat.
That's what I was sitting here while you were talking. I was like tweaking the.
You weren't even listening to me.
I was. I listened to every word. I always listen to you. My guy.
Fel Bombling said, let's pretend we're paid for trolls and make up fake shit about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds eats baby pandas. There's an actual interview with him and Sandra Bullock.
while with a panda leg in their hands. And the weirdest part is that they eat them raw. Right after they have monkey brains, and then right after they have monkey brains for dessert.
Baby monkey brains.
Baby monkey brains. Yeah, and bat wings.
Baby bat wings.
Baby bat wings, Dale. It's all about the baby arugulas. Baby bat wings in arugula. It's just absolutely insanity. And it's just constant. Like all day long you hear one thing after another. And we get it in this live occasionally on the more busy nights. People just showing up and just making shit up or confirming shit that they made up. It's incredible.
Delicate said that Baldoni has this weird thing that he is forgiven if he confesses.
B Celeste is here. What's up, B Celeste? Say what?
Delicate said Baldoni has this weird thing that he is forgiven if he confesses, like a person who goes to a confessional and with a priest.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he has this idea.
They use that confession ability as a shield.
Yeah, they use it as a scapegoat. They use it as a ticket to continue bad behavior.
I saw this person describe it really well. They were like, he will forgive himself and then expect everybody to go along. And if everybody else doesn't forgive him after he's forgiven himself, then they're the bad guys.
Yeah, I said I'm sorry, but I said I'm sorry syndrome.
But I said I'm sorry. I said I didn't mean it, and I'm a better person. Listen, I'm a work in progress. He constantly says this.
Yeah, I'm a work in progress.
I'm a work in progress. Okay, so you can't criticize me.
That's why they put it in that statement that they tried to negotiate him.
Because they probably heard him say it 40 times.
A work in progress.
They were like, drink every time you hear Baldoni say he's a work in progress. Yeah.
Which again, that's like such exploitative language because we all are learning from our mistakes. This is sort of the miracle of life.
Yeah, but it's true. Like a shield is a good way to put this. Where he uses that as a shield for sure. Yeah. Like, yes, you're a work in progress, but you also fucked up and you should be held accountable for that fuck up. Like, you can be both. We can do all the things. You
Crazy.
Hey, do you want to go start your game?
No, I did. I put it on pause.
Oh, okay, good.
Thanks.
Dale has a baseball game on right now that he doesn't want to miss.
Mets, Phillies. It's a big one.
They're going to win this time. I can feel it.
I hope so. We have lost 9 straight in New York.
Fel Bombling said, in all honesty, I think they as a group, meaning the Wayfarer guys, thought Blake was a brainless blonde that they could push around, but she turned out to be wickedly intelligent and confident.
Yeah. If a bad communicator at times. Yeah, well, I think there's validity in that, or that they just don't even think about women in general with any regard, like other than their wives who bear their children, their wives who make their homes, you know. And look,
I think it's a little bit weird. It's a little different than that. It's not, because you're talking about the person who's like would prefer that women don't vote and that they don't have a voice.
And that's not the case here.
I don't think that's the case there. I think they genuinely believe that women are very smart, that women are very capable, that women are really great allies, but they're always thinking of them in terms of what they can do for the men, right? Like, so yes, I do want a wife who's a housewife who raises my kids, because she is the most capable of doing that well. And if it was up to me, I'd fuck it up. Like I've heard him say stuff like this on his podcast. They had to teach him about benevolent sexism, where he praises women for being smarter than men and all of this. I think he truly believes that. But women aren't looking for that kind of praise. That's still sexism. Yeah. When you're doing like a battle of the sexes and you're just putting women up on top, it's still battle of the sexes, you know?
Yeah.
So I think what he thought was he was having a hard time conveying that he wanted Blake Lively to stay in her place without making it sound like that. And he didn't have a justification for it because she's a producer.
I'm just saying, I think that they have a general disregard for women. I think that, or for, you know what, you might be right, because it's like, I've said this about Leo. Like, Leo respects some women. There are women that Leo respects.
I'm sure he works with women, and is like, I'm so glad you're on our team. You're so smart.
I had a father-in-law, not your father, another father-in-law.
A past father-in-law.
He's since deceased, but he was racist. He had black friends. And not like just in the way that racists drop black friends as their, I got one.
Like he loved his black friends?
Genuinely loved like these two women.
I don't understand these fucking people, bro.
Genuinely loved these two women. Well, the way he did it was he justified it by saying that they weren't.
That they were different.
The same ilk.
Oh my god!
Of the disdainful. Yeah.
So fucked up.
Awful.
Okay, do those gymnastics, dude, or just drop the whole.
But this is how they do it. They make these it's like Donald Trump talking about his love for Taylor Swift all of a sudden, because now his Kansas City, his Ohio base that he needs to run in 2028, because for some reason Donald Trump can run for 3 terms.
Ohio,
yeah.
Kansas City, Ohio.
Well, I'm sorry, not Kansas City. Ohio from the Kelseys, and then Kansas City. I meant.
Oh, Ohio still loves the Kelsey brothers, even though they left.
What do you mean they left? They went to go be stars. Yeah, they love them for sure. Yeah, they're very proud of the Kelsey, but they're probably going to have statues and shit. They probably already have fucking streets named after them and stuff. So.
Foz said, I agree that Baldoni always says he is flawed, but also he doesn't explain in what way. He also said on his podcast that he's very stubborn. The episode with Jamie Heath where they speak about each other's flaws is really interesting. Jamie Heath says to Justin Baldoni that he has had too much therapy. Oh my God, it's so obvious. You know how dudes will sometimes like start, well, women too, but they start speaking in like therapy speak?
Yeah.
But they do it in a way to like sort of manipulate the narrative so that you can't actually criticize them.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than somebody who's been at like a crazy amount of therapy asking you how it makes you feel.
Like this, I saw this today. This person was like asking her boyfriend, like, "Hey, stop sleeping with other women," and he was like, "I hear what you're saying. I understand you're upset. I'm just gonna take some time and sit with these feelings for a little while," instead of actually fucking doing anything about it.
Lisa's asking a question about Don's Plum. Can I
yes.
Can I answer it for her? She says she has a question. Hello, Lisa, by the way. She says, specifically, I'd like to know, canonically, sorry, I can't, I don't have my glasses on. What happened to the characters afterwards? And if they were okay 10 and 20 years later?
That is a great question. Canonically.
They were, yeah,
were they okay?
Yeah, they were okay.
What happened after?
They all, continued with their lives, but they grew up. They grew up a little bit that night, and they continued to grow up.
Is this? Are you keeping the details secret for your sequel?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't written it. I never wrote it. I just know that for the characters in my heart, and when I finished that movie, they inherited the earth and they did great things with it. Turns out that's not true. Turns out, as I've always said about this movie, it's a work of fiction. But at the time, the whole point of the movie was that despite our very common, sort of immaturity and, I don't know how to put it, lack of confidence, despite all of that, our generation were more than capable of inheriting the earth and doing good by it. And look, Gen X's haven't inherited the earth yet. We know that we got an 81-year-old guy destroying it right now.
No, it's really, really
White House. So maybe
amazing.
We will, but not right now.
I know you guys have just been put on like hold.
I think they're just going to skip over it. We're like Prince Charles. We're going to have
You're the forgotten generation. Every time anybody mentions generations, they go boomer, millennial.
Yeah, boomers.
And then it's going to be that way too for you guys. Are just going to be missing.
Yeah, Gen X is just completely out of the picture. They're like, where'd they go? We're just like this blank, and we don't really give a shit. But I do think that we will actually inherit the earth. Had Kamala won, there would have been that.
Kamala did win.
She didn't, because here we are. It doesn't matter who stole what or whatever all the things are, But the whole movie was about my faith in our humanity and in our generation to fit in and, do with the world that the generations before had.
I thought the question was more specific about each character.
Well, they are. So the answer is yes, because symbolically, that's what the movie means.
Do they remain friends?
Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not all of them. Maybe they drift apart. Maybe they come back together later through the years. I could probably write a novella.
But those women probably never saw. Those women probably never saw their dates again, right?
Exactly. Like the women probably went their own way, but again, I think more than even the men, they were the women were the ones who I felt like grew the most.
Yeah.
I also felt like just through the night, and I also felt like the women, like they almost. I feel like the women, became stronger, just generally stronger, because they held the night.
Yeah.
It was their night.
That's right.
The guys went crazy because it was the women holding the night, and they couldn't have any control over it as much as they wanted it. And so they made drama, and it got crazy.
It's true.
And the women just held the night.
I know. I love that about my favorite criticism of Don's Plum is that it's sexist. And I'm like, okay, well, you just weren't paying attention, or you're not engaging with it critically or whatever, because it is absolutely like a confrontation of sexism.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. Like none of those dudes get what they want out of the evening.
No.
The women always win, and the dudes are completely oblivious to how they lost.
I mean,
but they lose at the
arguably,
end.
Amy lost, but then she went out and busted that Jeep and got her revenge and got picked up, not long after doing the damage, So she got her revenge for being mistreated, even if it wasn't necessarily. Lisa said, I hope Grace got me too'd. Exactly. And that was the other thing that Don's Plum was doing, was, taking all these tropes and these taboos and kind of turning them on their head. Men abusing women, and we have a woman abusing man, and a story about how, Derek's father lost his life in a battle over depression because, of an opposite thing. So everything was kind of like, we just want to turn things around and see how they played, basically. It was super fun. It was like, every time we came up with something that was like, that felt like a cliche or a trope, an overused trope, we tried to like find a way to tear it apart and find some other way to present it in a night. It was fun and clever. If I do say so myself. Thank you for coming, Lisa, and asking this great question. I hope that helped. Hope that answered it for you. Oh yeah, she said. I'm glad to know that. Now, the little bum, he went on to become a billionaire.
The little bum.
The little bum. The one that was hanging off of
the drunk one.
The drunk little bum. Yeah, he got sober.
Uh-huh.
And
what else happened for him?
Well, he
became a billionaire. How did he make his fortune?
He invented a device. He invented a contraption.
Oh.
Yeah, more than one, but it started with one.
Why are you telling the story like Christopher Walken?
And then he...
more than one.
And then he sold that patent of that one for a great deal of money. But it was his second invention that really made a fortune. And what he ended up doing with all that money was he ended up building homeless or housing for unhoused. So he built like big apartment blocks.
It's like
And they have laundry service, and they actually like treat the unhoused with not only respect but reverence. Like, you know how like when you're a rich person and you're in like those, you're like in wherever in Manhattan, and the door guy, opens, rushes to the door. Hello, Mr. Wheatley. Well, that's how they treat the unhoused people in the Little Bums. Yeah. So if you're unhoused, you're
he's like
hats off, and oh my God, respect, reverence.
He's like Christian Bale.
Because
in real life, IRL.
Because the unhoused people have more strength and courage to live on these streets and to survive in these absolutely crazy circumstances inflicted on them by a government lost in greed and corruption. See? Anyway, that's the little bum. The big bum went on several diets, didn't work out so much, decided to really embrace eating, and he overate himself to death.
And he was also a Scientologist. Who wrote a letter to the judge trying to get leniency for his close friend who was convicted for multiple violent crimes.
Did you see what Lisa said about the little bum?
No.
Poor little bum. He was only 15.
Is that what you say?
Yeah.
That's great. Do you want to hear more from the chat?
Please. I want to hear everything.
Fel Baumling said Blake and Ryan learned on Green Lantern that a bomb in the box office hurts the name on the marquee. And so this theory is that Blake Lively saw that the movie was a possible gong show, which is a really hilarious way to put that. So she pushed for some control to save it from being another Green Lantern. What do you think about that theory?
Yeah, I mean, it's something they knew before the Green Lantern. I mean, every actor knows it. That's at any high level. They watch the box office the way guys in New York and on Wall Street watch the stock exchange. I remember very distinctly being in Leo's bedroom after Basketball Diaries opened. RD and I had gone to see it, and he was like, how many people were in the theater? And we were like, yeah, that was just us and like one other person. And he turned white.
Oh, no. Poor guy.
Like his blood left his head, like his face. He was like, that's horrible. And I was like, you'll be fine. I tried to make him feel better.
So what do you think about the theory that Blake Lively wanted to get involved in the edit because she was trying to save a bad film?
100% believe that she recognized that the production was in jeopardy in some way. Maybe not a gong show, but maybe just a really fucked up, flubbed opportunity. So I think that that is a very likely scenario. I think she found that out through rehearsals. I think she showed up on the set already aware of a problem that she felt existed, and that's why I believe that this unfolded rather quickly. It's why I think also people might have gotten the impression that she somehow had some kind of agenda, because she probably did. That agenda being born out of a complete lack in confidence in what was on display from Wayfair. It is like, you couldn't have nailed it more, frankly. You really can't do a better job at explaining the real problem that Blake Lively was faced with Justin Baldoni taking on more than he can handle. This is the real truth of the matter. Isn't just necessarily that he and they were so bad, meaning the Wayfair parties were so bad at keeping a set and running a good production, but also that Justin Baldoni was in way over his head, and they knew it. And look, when a director is unstable, I had this with Don's Plum. When a director is unstable, and if there's no one there to protect or stabilize that director, or at least give the illusion of stability around that director, it's like vultures. They'll just start pecking at that rib meat like right away, because it gives them an opportunity to have, how Blake Lively talks about authorship? Yeah. Well, it's not just Blake Lively. It's fucking everybody on that set. It's everybody in that post-production suite. It's everybody at every level of the production. They all want authorship. Everybody wants to create or contribute creatively on a significant level, right? They just want to. They want to be recognized. They want to be in the movie theater during the fucking premiere, during the screening for the cast and crew, and they want to hear somebody whisper, yeah, man, Dale came up with that fucking idea in the last minute. He spat it out, and they fucking, look at that. It worked. I remember watching Project Greenlight. Do you remember that show? Mm-hmm. And there was, it was the season that they discovered Shia LaBeouf. And in one of the episodes, one of the co-producers was in the post-production suite, and he came up with he gave like the perfect note. The director was struggling with a specific moment, and he gave this perfect note. It was a note I was already in my head when he gave the note. I was like, you got to do this, and he gave the note. It was like that good of a note, meaning like it was like exactly what a producer should be doing in the post-production suite with a director struggling in a specific moment. And the kid got elevated immediately, right, in the episode. All of a sudden, it was like, man, you got an eye. This kid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, dude, he fixed that scene. So it's just like everybody has that hunger. They want that recognition. So it makes the place kind of a zoo. You know, that's what makes it so funny that people are like, oh, Blake Lively, she wanted to move up the ladder. Every fucking buddy is
right.
chomping at the bit.
Well, it also says a lot about how Jamie Heath kind of like shirked all responsibility for being kind of a shield for Justin Baldoni. You know, he absolutely could have put his foot down and said, no, Blake, we're going to let the director have more weeks alone in the editing room to come up with his edit. But he didn't. He wasn't protecting him at all. And somehow it's Blake's fault. It's just weird.
So fucking weird.
Austin said there was no... Oh, this is in regards to the Isabel Ferrer scene.
Ferrer?
The sex scene?
Yeah.
There was no intimacy coordinator. I didn't know that.
Nope.
Is that true?
Yes.
And Blake Lively was not invited to the filming of the underage scene. I knew that she was absent for it, which she specifically requested to be present for because she was against it. I didn't know that.
You know, I got to tell you, it's an interesting problem that they're faced with.
I'm curious about where you saw that. If you can remember where, like, how to reference that information, it'd be really fun to look that up. And
yeah, well, if you could source that, that'd be amazing. Listen, the thing is that if Justin Baldoni didn't want her present for a scene that he was shooting, it'd be hard to argue that he was out of his place for that. And yes, they brought her on as a producer, but the problem with, and this, we know this to be true, she wasn't a producer when they brought her on. She was an executive producer.
Yes. And
they demurred on the producer credit, both Sony and Wayfarer. And so it would be disingenuous to just invoke all these privileges that they were clearly trying to keep away from her at the time, both at the studio level and at the production level. So, yeah, I mean, so it gets a little cloudy around that topic.
Around which topic?
Well, specifically...
the sex scene?
Well, just whether or not she had the right to be there or not.
Oh,
like, just because she demanded to be there.
They may have scheduled it specifically to exclude Blake Lively, but I know that the way that it actually went down was that Blake Lively got COVID and she had to miss a few days of filming. And so I recall that this is what Justin Baldoni said, was that they reorganized their schedule and then filmed Isabel's scenes without Blake, because those were always scheduled for days when Blake Lively wasn't there. And so they just decided to move those up.
Shannon says that Isabella Ferrer said that they had a great intimacy coordinator, the one that they worked on, Bridgerton. Well, I think...
I'm confused about this. I don't know.
Let me explain.
Okay.
I think that it might have been that she worked with an intimacy coordinator prior to shooting the scene, but that there was not one present on the shooting of the scene. So, and I could be wrong about this.
We know that this is true, that Justin Baldoni is trying to talk to an intimacy coordinator and work everything out prior, like in pre-production, but that he doesn't necessarily think it's very important to have an intimacy coordinator on set during those shoot days.
Even if she had...
Not every time, but like this is a reoccurring allegation.
Even if the intimacy coordinator was there, he still rewrote a scene to show a gasping penetration of a teenager during her first sexual experience, and that's fucked up.
That's fucking so wrong. Okay.
It's just straight up fucked up.
I know. Like, dude, expect criticism for that. Jesus Christ.
There's no reason to do that unless it's like 1982 Porky's. You know those movies. You know what I mean? Revenge of the Nerds. Like
he wasn't trying to make that movie. You know what I mean?
No, but even like there was.
He was trying to make a female gaze movie somehow, and
that's
he
what
did
I'm saying.
that.
Like
insane.
It's still inappropriate for those movies, but those movies had a time, a context. You know, there was a time when like you could do Grape on a fucking like Revenge of the Nerds, or in like Grease 2, you know, where there's like this constant pressure from men to women, for women to put out, as they put it, right?
Foz says
we're past that shit.
Foz is talking to their sister and asking them about this all this controversy.
Okay.
So Foz's sister said, so what if he added a sex scene that wasn't in the book? The book doesn't have to be the same. And this is what's so incredible. Okay. The sex scene in the book takes place right after they both get off the school bus from high school. And in the book, the sex scene is just like brushed over, like alluded to. And then when she actually comes back into a scene, it's their cuddling after they're finished. And so I do not understand why Justin Baldoni didn't think that maybe it was okay to just film that, where they get off the school bus because they're teenagers, and then you have them like maybe undercovers or something.
The real problem
cuddling,
with it, the real problem
just
with
like Colleen Hoover did.
The real problem isn't that he wanted to adapt the book in outside of the sort of, the parameters of the book. It happens all the time. The problem is that he talked about the most important thing being the female gaze. And when given the female gaze, that is the writing of Colleen Hoover, where it didn't take place, and then the adaptation of that by the screenwriter, whose name Christy Hall, thank you. She also did not adapt that into some kind of...
Because why the fuck would you have a teenage sex scene?
So that he chooses
insane?
that scene in a movie that's supposed to be focused on the female gaze, where, by the way, he already is aware that Blake Lively has objections.
Yes, I know.
So now we have three women in a female gaze movie. We got 3 fucking women now. All 3 of them are like, don't do this. But Justin Baldoni must have his painful gasp. It's awful. It's awful. There's no other way to look at it. It's fucking awful. It's a teenager. We don't need this shit in the movie. First of all, the other thing about it is it's gratuitous. And this is the real problem and why it bothered Blake Lively. There's no reason it's there except for what it does to him. It does not propel the story. It does not improve or give any depth or subtext to Lily. It's nothing except an exploitative-looking, sexualized scene, probably for the purposes
Here's the thing. Here's
of
here's
his
how it is
personal
relevant.
satisfaction and what he thinks people want to see.
I will explain for you why it is relevant. When Ryle, as an adult, is confronted by Atlas as an adult with Lily, they're all adults, he tells Lily, oh, so this is the guy that you had sex with when you were a teenager. That is a scene that happens. So it,
I didn't say that
I guess it has to be established that they
That's not what I said, though. That's
had
not
a
I'm talking
romantic
about
relationship.
The scene itself, the
scene
shooting
itself
of it.
does not need
I'm not
to
talking
exist.
about the fact that she had sex with this guy.
No, I know.
And that sex was her first or anything. That could be all important. What's not important is the scene, seeing the scene.
I agree with you.
It wasn't in the book.
It's difficult for me to even fucking talk about it. I can't believe that this guy actually tried to film it. I can't believe that there wasn't anybody else on that set that was like, hey, yo, like, whisper, like, maybe you should rethink this. Like, I'm so uncomfortable just talking about it. I can't believe that he went through with it. Horrible.
Lisa's asking if I'd ever adapt a book to film. I think I might.
I think you'd fucking rock that.
If I did, right now, I'd probably choose to go epic and try A Little Life. Get all
do it.
Get all Robert Altman meets like Bertolini and just like create a fucking epic
Yes.
Melancholy piece.
That's what the people want.
Just an epic melancholy piece, just straight up. And what I love about it, if you don't know, A Little Life is this. I can't say her name. I'll just embarrass myself. The author. The book is very popular. I read it years ago. I loved it, but it's dark, bro. But I would love to adapt. If I was going to adapt something, I would definitely want to adapt something like really dark and disturbing. Really mind fucking. You know?
Yep.
That's my thing. Well, it's not, you know, I got a comedy. I'm working on a comedy. I've been working on this comedy for years now called Buried in This Town.
Excellent.
We've talked about it many times.
I love this project. It makes me laugh just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a great project. So it's not that I'm not without, you know, a love and appreciation for comedy. It's just, if I was going to adapt a book, man. Good night, Foz. You know what I mean?
Damon Child said, as we were talking about Michael Bay,
Yeah.
said, I'm not suggesting that films have to be authored by Kubrick or Kurosawa to be good, but Six Underground by Michael Bay is unmitigated dross. Simply horrendous.
Yeah. Fuck Michael Bay. Like, honestly,
I still want to watch it.
I don't care about, yeah, well, you have a certain gluttony.
I have a curiosity for those kinds of movies. It'll be entertaining.
I think once you turn 50, you won't. Because at 50, you're going to be like, I don't have time to watch a bad movie. Speaking of that, by the way, just to go off topic very, very briefly, I saw this interesting quote by Denzel Washington where he, in a podcast, confessed to not watching films anymore. He's like, I'm done with that. I don't watch movies. It's like, I don't have time for it. I'm sick of them. I'm done with it. He's made 50 movies, you know, or 40 whatever movies, you know what I mean?
He gets a pass.
Yeah.
Also, you know, he's talking about movies that are made now. He's probably seen every movie that's been made before.
He's such a worker bee. You know, he's like, hire me.
I don't really think that a lot of much new is happening that he would even be.
There hasn't been a lot happening in cinema.
You and I have been consistently disappointed watching newer movies.
Even Sinners, like everyone, Sinners, and I thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible, but I thought it was okay. I thought that Michael B. Jordan was not great.
Yeah, I agree.
And I thought that he did not play. I thought he was playing the same role.
That was a little tricky to review.
Two different color hats.
Yeah. That one's a little tricky to review critically because I know that people really, really love that movie. And so I don't want to like rain on anybody's parade, you know?
Don't rain on my parade.
I know. I don't want to. But I thought a lot was wrong with that movie. A lot was right too, but whatever.
Anyway, I don't mind a bad movie every now and again. Cosmic Urgency's put me through one. He's not here tonight to take accountability, though.
You said Foz left?
Foz just left.
Okay.
We can still talk whatever Foz is talking about, though. It's good for everybody.
Foz wanted to know if you would ever work with Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I'd work with Tony Robbins, yeah. I know there's some issues. He's had some issues that I would certainly want to like clarify.
Maybe you should clarify that that's not like just out of the blue. Like you used to work with Tony Robbins.
I did work with Tony Robbins in the late 80s. Where I worked on one of his franchises, but we spoke a couple of times. He was the big boss. Yeah, I mean that guy changed my life in many different ways.
Delicate said that Tanner messaged her that he arrived to his destination yesterday.
That's great. He messaged me. I actually sent him a note because he was worried about running into a storm.
Oh yeah.
So I texted him. I was like, "Did you make it?" He was like, "Yes, I made it." I'm like,
we should send him a housewarming gift.
As soon as I sent it, I was like, "This is a kind of a stupid thing, you know? Hey, did you make it?" It's kind of like a stupid thing. Like, you know,
well,
like,
it's nice to check in on people.
I know I want to hear the answer yes, but if he doesn't come back, like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Send out a search party, I guess.
I'd be like, guys, I've got to cancel the live. I'm now on a hunt for Tanner, who just simply hasn't answered me.
Foz said, I watched the Ryan Reynolds interview with Letterman on Netflix, and I realized that Ryan Reynolds is actually very boring. He isn't funny either and tries too hard and overdoes the weird humor. I know half the things that people hate Ryan Reynolds for is just him being like awkward and cringy. Which
he's awkward and cringy.
Like Lively gets that kind of hate too, but man, like I fucking find it relatable. Like it's so difficult to be on camera constantly and try and be like, you know, entertaining clown character, you know, that everybody wants you to be. Horrible. It must be horrible.
Fuck fame, dude. I don't want any part of that shit. That's just like, it's like, Jesus Christ, the guy's just a dude.
I know.
He's just a dude. He's showing up. People think he's entertaining. And if you don't, you don't. Like,
yeah, then you're not the audience for him.
You know what I do with people that I don't find entertaining? I don't fucking watch what they do.
I know.
I just ignore them because
the thing.
They're not entertaining.
I know. They hate him so much, but they're fucking obsessing over him. It's crazy. I mean, I guess we're doing the same thing.
I'm staring at a picture of Heidi and Lenny, or I don't know if she'd call Lenny.
Who?
Her daughter. What? Heidi Klum.
Okay.
Her daughter. Mm-hmm. Stunning.
Oh, of course.
It's like ridiculous. It doesn't seem like, how does that happen? How do you have Because like I've seen also like it's just so weird. Genetics are so weird because you see that I've had like
Is that
beautiful friends and then they have a baby. I'm not going to tell you who they are but they have the baby. And you're like, ooh, okay, that didn't work out as much as you'd probably hoped. I mean, she's beautiful, but not really. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Is that the kid that she had with Seal? Seal and
I'm
Heidi
gonna,
Klum
I'm gonna go
are the
with
parents?
yeah. I don't know. She's very white, but of course she can be still. But yeah, I mean, I can't get a good look at her, but she's stunning.
Yeah, well, it must be nice to be a supermodel's kid.
She's not as tall as her mother, so she can't be a supermodel, but she could be like a really good one. They're not showing me her face close up, so maybe it's not as spectacular as the famed mother. There was also some very sad conversations about poor Bruce Willis. Emma Hemmings come out as her husband.
Oh, Emma Hemmings is Bruce Willis's current wife.
His wife, yeah.
And she is putting out a book about being a caregiver, like a memoir.
Yeah.
Being surprised with the caregiver role in your relationship.
It's probably a great book for a lot of people.
I know.
There's 100% chance I'm not going to read that because there's just no way I'm going to be crippled by her sorrow and her pain. Just
it might
hearing.
Be smart to read something like that. Like
well,
you never know.
I'm going to wait until I lose my mind.
And then you're gonna.
And then I'm going to read it.
Read the self-help books.
I'll pass it to you.
Anyway, so she's on her like a little press tour about her book, and so she's talking about Bruce Willis's condition. So he retired because he had aphasia, which I guess affects your ability to speak and maybe recall. I don't know exactly what it does, like your verbal processing as well as your
you'll
ability
start
to
fucking
actually...
up sentences. You'll start making no sense at all in what you're saying.
Right. Like you exchange the wrong words and stuff. You know?
Exactly.
I feel like I do that sometimes.
I do it like right on this live on a regular fucking basis. I'm sitting there going through some of these things. I'm like, why the fuck can't you just come out with a sentence, dude? It's like right there, I'll be ba 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 ba, and then coming up with words.
It's not easy.
So it's 2 hours of talking to you.
But his condition
easy.
progressed. I guess it's degenerative, and so now he has frontotemporal dementia. And she was saying in the interview that that Bruce Willis, that he'll have like moments of clarity. He doesn't have like whole days of being himself anymore, but there will be moments where he comes through, and she got emotional in the interview because she's like, and they're fleeting, it goes away.
The one that crushed me was she said it's the laugh.
Oh, his laugh?
Yeah,
that's got to be rough.
That
bro.
fucking hit me in the knees, dude. I almost couldn't stand anymore. I was like, oh my god, because it's like the perfect relatable source of like where all the fog is gone. Is that laugh, that sound, that familiar look, that exact sound that won't have all that pain.
Yikes, bro.
Holy God, that hit me hard, dude. I was like, man, oh man. But also just like she said that, he's having struggle. He's having a great deal of trouble, like I am here today, articulating, like just talking. And it was really super sad to hear. And, it's just, yeah, it's wild to see the struggles that come.
But she said that he's totally healthy otherwise. It's just his brain that has an issue.
Right. So he's got, which is, amazing. Like the guy's in great physical shape.
Yeah. Like I'm glad that he's not like suffering physically, I really like Bruce Willis. Should I not? Is there something bad about him?
Well, there was a
it's hard to have heroes,
There was a period before the dementia where he was making a lot of headlines for saying controversial things that were like very like.
Oh, but I wonder whether that was like an early sign.
It's so interesting when you think about Robin Williams, because Robin Williams literally took his own life to prevent what now Bruce Willis's wife is going through.
Yeah, apparently Robin Williams was struggling with hallucinations that were very frightening.
Not like the good kind.
Because I think that's also a symptom sometimes of these diseases. Yikes, bro. Do you have a favorite Bruce Willis movie?
I mean, yeah, it's probably Ghost.
Probably what?
Oh no, it's Patrick Swayze. It's probably well, yeah, it's probably Sixth Sense, I guess. Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Die Hards.
It's got to be Die Hard,
the
bro.
first Die Hard. I liked quite a bit.
So great.
And he was really great in Sin City. Mm-hmm. He's fucking fantastic in it. I mean, he's done a lot of great shit for a guy who's like wasn't like a great actor. Like generally speaking,
he always played the same dude.
He never had no range at all. But they always found the right spot for him, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And there's like, nobody's come in his place. Like I thought it might have been Jason Statham, but it's not. Jason Statham is not like the Bruce Willis type. He doesn't have any of that charisma. Like Bruce Willis had like that uncle, that father, that sort of family member feeling.
Bruce Willis too, like even when he was being a tough guy, like you were like waiting on the edge of your seat to like laugh with him.
Right.
Like you were with him the whole way, that if he cracked a joke, you'd be like, oh, that's so funny, Bruce. You're such a great guy. Like the whole time. That charisma is really magnetic. I think my favorite of his is Pulp Fiction. I thought that his Butch storyline was the best storyline in that whole thing. I thought it was like that. He was the star of that movie for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. His storyline is what made that whole movie work for me.
When I heard that was Roger Avery's character,
yeah,
and not Quentin Tarantino's, I was like, oh, that makes sense, because that guy really fucking stands out. It's really unique and definitely my favorite. Anywho. Oh, yeah. So fucking we want to talk about Cardi B.
Cardi B was on trial.
Yeah, so apparently she's got a really excellent publicist or something, because I didn't hear anything about it until people started sharing.
Nobody gives a shit about Cardi B's. Look, dude, I literally tubed our...
No, but Cardi B's in trouble and nobody talked about it. She has an excellent publicist, for sure, who like buried all of that. But today we're seeing videos from her trial, because apparently the plaintiff's attorney is being a real asshole to her constantly. Like, apparently he wanted her to testify about what's wrong with her hair. Her hair keeps changing. And she was like, they're wigs. Like, what's your fucking problem?
You don't know that?
Yeah, it's so strange. Has nothing to do with anything. And then today on the trial, he said, what did you tell my client? Right? Because the whole controversy is that they had a confrontation and an altercation where the plaintiff is accusing Cardi B of assault. So he was like, well, what did you say to my client? And so she said in the courtroom, she said, why are you up in my face? Why you have your phone on me? Like, get out of my face. Like, I thought you were security or something. And then the defense attorney said, why don't you say that directly to my client? Like, say it to her face. And everybody in the courtroom was like, she doesn't have to do that. What the fuck is your problem? So the judge had to scold them and be like, can we have some fucking order in here?
Yeah.
Some decency or whatever. I'm not sure how the judge put it. I can't remember.
Order!
Gavel, gavel.
Gavel, gavel.
Anywho.
Those guys, man, they used my content. They didn't put my name on it. Then I reached out to them.
And the podcast, Gavel, Gavel?
Ignored me.
Yeah.
It's super impressive. Anyway, moving on.
That's not super kind, but whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Cardi B, apparently the allegation is that so Cardi B showed up for an appointment at the obstetrician's office, and she was being seen for a pregnancy that was not public yet. So when a security guard who worked on the premises called out to her and approached her, Cardi B was was defensive because she didn't want her video. Apparently she had her phone out and was recording her. The security guard was recording Cardi B when she approached her, like, oh, Cardi B, I love you, or whatever. And Cardi B said that she wanted her to stop recording her because she didn't want it to go to the tabloids that she was visiting because of a pregnancy that wasn't public yet. You know what I mean? So apparently they had a confrontation where Cardi B, her claim is that she just tried to get this lady to leave her alone. And then the plaintiff's claim is that Cardi B scratched her with her long fingernails and left a cut on her cheek.
That scarred her.
As just a scratch. She doesn't say it was a cut. But apparently there was a witness that was like a plastic surgeon who treated it, he said, which, you can see a plastic surgeon for anything.
And they'll also like tell you there's a scar there when there's not.
So that they can sell you special ointment?
Well, just because there might be something there that is practically, and he might sell you on the fact that like when the sun gets a hold of it, it'll be, worse or.
I think it's really weird that somebody that's working in like a medical office security is seeing a plastic surgeon if they're not like intending to sue Cardi B. I don't know. Anyway, it's a he said, she said, or she
Death
said.
becomes her.
A she said. What?
Isn't that Bruce Willis? Death becomes her?
Yes.
He's great in that.
Yeah, where he plays a neurotic. That is a different character.
Isn't that when he's decapitated at one point?
He doesn't get decapitated.
He doesn't?
No, they get decapitated, but they live because they're not dead.
Right.
They're undead.
Yeah. He's very funny in that.
Anyway, so you don't want to talk about Cardi B anymore?
Yeah, I do.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's cool. We can move on.
No, it's cool. I'm sorry. I just the chat caught me. The chat caught me. But yeah, and she apparently spit on her, and
yeah, that's what she says, that she spit on her.
so she's on trial for being like for scratching her face and spitting on her, which is just gnarly. It's so weird because it's like it'd be very easy for Cardi B to certainly misinterpret what they're there for. It would be just as easy for them.
Yeah, if she's like, there's a rabid fan or a paparazzi or somebody just like running up to me with a camera phone, they're going to sell this video to the fucking tabloids and this sucks.
Yeah, and she's going into a very private moment.
Yeah.
And, like in Guilty Angels pointing this out, and it's absolutely true, she has no right to privacy. She's lost her right to privacy.
No, it's true.
It's just an unfortunate thing, but, it's like, look, Tommy Lee in the Pamela documentary, he struck that and he threw that reporter to the ground after they had, gone through a very difficult time.
Yeah, and that reporter was like all up in his fucking face. Here's the thing. I'm wrong with this opinion. I recognize that my opinion is not correct. But I still feel like if you're going to start something with somebody, if you're going to run up to them and confront them about something, then if you get swatted by their sharp fingernails, I feel like you kind of asked for it. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not saying that anybody has the right to pull out a weapon or something, like a knife or a gun or something like that. But if somebody wants to shove you because you ran straight up to them and started like hollering them and bothering them, I feel like that's like warranted. Even if that person doesn't feel physically threatened, I feel like you're acting out of hand. I don't know.
They obviously have a right to defend themselves if they feel threatened. They don't forgo that because they've lost their privacy as a famous person and person of a public figure.
I just feel like there's like just a lack of like normal fucking decent behavior from people where they're like, I disrupted this celebrity. I ran up to them and I was acting like in a hostile manner, trying to get their attention in the middle of their day. And I am now suing them because they reacted to the chaotic situation that I created. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
But of course I'm wrong because you're not allowed to swat somebody, even if you have short nails.
Yeah, it's just an understandable moment. It's an understandable moment if you feel as though you're not, you're being threatened in a way that, sort of lives outside of what you're normally used to and sort of more consenting toward, which is like, whatever, you're going to a nightclub or some kind of movie premiere or whatever it might be, or even just being out on the town, on a regular Friday night. But this is obviously a very different situation. And unfortunately, paparazzi and just people in general are really gross when it comes to prying into these super private matters. And yeah, you got to be, it's so funny, like her publicist was so good, but yes. Now, I guess this person is saying they just caught her by accident, right? They weren't stalking her.
No, the person was working security. And that's part of the confrontation was Cardi B was like, aren't you a security guard? Why are you acting like this?
Right. Because she's like, and it's an interesting argument that she's making.
Yeah, she's like, you're supposed to be security. You're not supposed to be the person that I would need security for.
Right. Who am I supposed to call now? Fuckface, put it down.
Exactly. So I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what's going to happen. She's going to have to prove that she was assaulted.
Yeah, she apparently has scars. And had plastic surgery.
Consulting a plastic surgeon doesn't mean that he had plastic surgery.
Okay, fine.
He said he treated her, but that means that he could have just consulted her.
I'm just making shit up, bro. I am just spoiling the earth with lies.
You're just like the guys with the Ryan Reynolds, Robert Downey Jr. fiasco stories.
I'm lost in the depths, the quagmires of our previous lives, and I just saw the little bit we did. I made a timeline out of it where we talked about how the planets are gods.
Yeah.
And I cannot get it out of my mind that we are like, we're just organisms within this entity, Earth, and that Earth is a recognized actual God.
Dale is really interested in nature photography.
Oh yeah, I love it.
And so we'll be on a walk and I'll point out a mushroom or something.
Mm-hmm. And I'll get on my hands and knees. And...
yeah, and you'll take really great mushroom pictures. He gets to mushroom height, and the pictures turn out awesome.
I'll go down
where they look like
mushrooms.
trees. But my favorite thing is that I'll be like, oh look, there's a mushroom, and you'll always remind me. You're like, no, that's like a fruit of a giant mushroom that's like as big as this entire block.
You'll point out this little mushroom, and you'll be, look at the little mushroom. I'm like, that's not a little mushroom.
That is a massive mushroom. We're walking on this mushroom. It's so huge.
Yeah, we are walking on a giant mushroom right now.
Because the mushroom organism, like the mycelium, is spread so far. And so that's what they say is like that the earth is just like one giant living organism. That it's all just like a big mushroom.
A big mushroom cloud. No, we live on a big mushroom. It's like the mother tree. You know, like when you go into the forests of British Columbia, a scientist has learned and scientifically proved that it's all one tree.
Yeah, that their root systems are all connected.
Knew intuitively when I got there. And I'll tell you the story. I used to hike through those forests in British Columbia. They were my passion when I lived there. And I fought for them, and, you know, it's in the book. And one afternoon hiking through either Carmina Valley, Clockwood Sound, or, you know, along those trails, I came upon a fallen giant, probably a good 200-foot, like big fucking 20-foot diameter kind of giant, you know? It was just ungodly big. And from it, it had been fallen for probably the better part of a century, because coming out of it were these like 100-footers, 4 of them. And it just all hit me in that moment. I was like, this whole thing is one big fucking tree.
Yeah.
This whole thing, I'm walking on one. And
these massive trees are just sprouts.
I shit you not, that was my intuitive moment in 1991, 92, whatever it was, when I was hiking those goddamn forests. And then I open up that book, that very famous book, The Mother Tree. And in the very in her preface, she reveals scientifically, it's factual, that there is a mother tree, ostensibly one tree, that became all trees.
But it isn't just that it became other trees.
It's
that it continues to assist
Yes.
through its root system.
Yes.
That it will like nourish all of the trees around it.
It is still the mother tree.
Yeah.
To this day. To this day.
Because it has a root system that is still like connected. It's so incredible too, because like the mushroom mycelium, it like also helps trees communicate.
Yeah.
It's like a little like telephone wires between trees.
It's like the internet.
It helps them share nutrients with each
more
other.
like a grid of information.
Yes, dude. It's so fucking cool. I don't know why anybody is like, you know, disinterested in preserving nature. It's so fascinating. It's totally fucking metal the way it works, and it's all secreted away underground, hidden. You have to investigate to find out the stuff.
I take a lot of pictures of mushrooms. I used to, anyways. Do you hit the chat? There's like a lot going on that we're missing out on. I want to get in on.
Foz wants to know if I watched the Baldoni interview on the Gents Talk podcast in December 2024. I have not, and I should.
Let's cue it up. Stefan's here. What's up, dude? Man,
welcome back.
He's probably got bleary eyes. It's late as fuck in the UK. What's up, Stefan? Good to see you, buddy. So glad you made it. It was a nice slow night. We're just chilling, man. I put Cardi B as the headline,
and now we've just had some peace.
People were like, "Nah,
I know.
No, thank you."
Nobody's paying for her smear campaign.
Nobody's paying for her smear campaign.
Foz was also asking, wouldn't the dance montage have been rehearsed before they filmed it?
No.
That makes sense.
Never.
Because it was just supposed to be this short slow-mo.
Surprisingly, rehearsals for these kinds of movies don't really last very long, maybe 10 days or something. And they just really do a lot of like the main scenes and stuff.
They would rehearse the fight scenes. Like there's,
yes.
There's like abuse scenes. So they would rehearse those for
and
sure.
just They rehearse all the major dialogue scenes. They basically rehearse the whole movie, but if they were going to rehearse that, it would just be they would just like, yeah, well, we're going to do a quick, they would not rehearse it. Still looking?
Yeah, going through the chat. Lisa, also Hollywood question. Were there any people you met in Hollywood that were genuinely good? Like not just friendly, but like good of heart?
Yeah, lots, many, so many. Both in front and behind the camera. The ones you would know would be like Pedro Pascal, I've talked about at length. Just one of the great, I knew him very, very well. We were very good friends. I spoke yesterday about how I bought him Prince tickets.
Who else?
He's a wonder bar. And, so is Jeremy Sisto. I mean, I love Jeremy Sisto, and I still do. Despite the fact that he doesn't love me. Boo-hoo. Meadow Sisto, genuinely beautiful person. Eric Darbeloff, I just spoke about him. He runs Roadside Attractions, and just a truly lovely human being, would never harm a fucking soul. There's just so many. The problem with Hollywood isn't that it lacks in good people. It's that the bad ones are in control. The bad ones have the power, or that the power helps corrupt them to that. And it just seems that fewer and fewer people exposed to the tremendous amount of power and wealth that Hollywood can bring to bear, so many people fall to it. They succumb to it as opposed to harness it and do great things with it. It becomes a competition like everything in a capitalist society. And they get caught up in that, and they get a whole new world where they got to level up in different ways now, where they got to level up in how much money they made per film. It doesn't matter whether or not they need the fucking money. Yeah. This is how just corrupt society is.
Right.
They just want to be the highest paid. It's like athletes, the Philadelphia Phillies are playing the New York Mets. The New York Mets made the biggest off-season signing last season. They signed a guy called Soto for $700 million, a baseball player.
I'm always astounded by those.
700, almost $1 billion.
That's amazing.
And all that is scorekeeping at that point.
I know.
There's no need for that money in anyone's life. You don't need $700 million. I don't need it.
Also, it doesn't seem like the most profitable venture in the world either. Like, how do they fucking make that money? How do they have that much money to spend on every single player on the team in every single city? It's fucking nuts, dude. Like, where's that coming from? Really, well, they sell that many fucking, sodas.
It's not just what's happening in the stands. He's playing for one of the larger markets. Obviously, he's the largest market in the New York Mets. But there's so much revenue. They have TV, they have streaming, they have then they have merch, they have just licensing out the butt.
So they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on each player.
Yes.
Because they sell like jerseys and hot dogs, and they also have commercials. Or like, how is that much money being made?
It's with a lot of it is ad revenue. They play. Remember, it's boring to break down.
Yeah.
But it does end up being like at the expense of, the end user, right? The customer. That customer is paying for that $700 million, and that $700 million is pointless. And that's the only point I'm making here, is that it's fucking pointless.
It has to be. There's no amount. That money is too much. It's too much money.
And instead, if these people would all make the right amount of money, or be taxed at least. Like, okay, make your $700 billion. We're taking fucking $600 million of it, and you can have $100 million. But we're taking $600 million of it because you don't even need $100 million, bro. You don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't need that. You don't need $100 million in this lifetime. And the problem...
I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
They don't.
You ain't getting it. In case you haven't figured that out by now. Dude. I'm still trying to sell like 10 books this month.
Austin said that we're giving Baldoni too much credit.
Oh.
That he is a complete narcissist, 100% seriously problematic. And look at the company he keeps. His signal messages tell you exactly how he views women.
Yes.
And then he's hot potatoes liability onto Melissa, Nathan, and Jen Abel.
I agree with you. I just think I think he's a bad person. I think he's genuinely a bad human being. He does bad things. I think that he's learned how to manipulate the people around him by putting on this front of being a good person. But I think he's lying through his teeth. And the reason I think he's lying through his teeth is because he has a profound history of, and I just don't think it's like people picking on Justin Baldoni. I don't think that the gentleman with cystic fibrosis was picking on Justin Baldoni when he accused him of stealing his property. I don't think that Mr. Norman, I believe his last name is
Shane Norman, yeah.
Shane Norman, who filed a lawsuit for discrimination and retaliation, among other charges, that he was, lying or just being mean or victimizing Justin Baldoni. And what surprises me probably most of all through all of this is that Blake Lively, despite whether you like, regardless of whether you like her or not, or respect her, or whatever the fuck that is about, she doesn't have a litigious history. She doesn't have people suing her. The things that they use against her are her own words about her own life, about her own lessons and her own growth. And they take these kinds of things out and they manipulate them and turn them into things against her. So when you're sitting around, you're weighing, facts and you're looking at character, it's pretty difficult for me to find any way to side with the likes of Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath when you have Blake Lively there, who really has the most to lose. And that's the other thing. Justin Baldoni had the least to lose in this situation. He didn't have a career like Blake Lively had at all. He's backed by a billionaire. He's making the big money. Justin Baldoni and his crew walked away with at least $60 million coming off that movie. Probably more like $100 million when it's all fucking said and done. While Blake Lively would have gotten her back end and her salary, which, a few $1 million for sure, and certainly plenty of money. You know how I feel about money and how too much of it goes around for too little. But, it's when you talk about career, so I forget who it was who brought it up, who talked about how she might be worried that there's a shit show coming. Yeah. And so she's got to interfere with that because her entire commodity is her likeness and her performances and her, she doesn't, I think they brought up the Green Lantern.
Right. She would be the lead actor in a movie that she wanted to make sure it didn't bomb.
Yeah. And the bombs, they hurt in two ways. They hurt the public in some ways, but the public is really forgiving. We forget about people like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people go away and then people are like, you know what? Yeah. Whatever fucking happened to John Cusack, actually? Just like these names, just Julia Roberts, where's she been? Because she was gone forever.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So, and they can just disappear and we don't go chasing them.
Yeah.
We're not in pursuit. It's a great, if you want to if you actually pay close attention, you'll see that publicists are always at work here. And I thought, because I naively believed I was going to write a book and then people would write about it because it's a book that's got this controversial shit.
I know.
The book is fairly well written. There should be.
But there are two people in your book that have the best publicists working for them.
And they have shut it down.
I know.
I can't get any coverage on my book at all.
I know.
I literally started this channel. I started doing all this because I am completely shut down. Nobody cares. And nobody will care unless I can find a way to a publicist or I can find my way to getting some attention on my item because people are not going to discover it for themselves. But where the point that I was really going after is that these movie stars, they just disappear, bro. They just go away. They can be gone the next day when they turn it off. Daniel Day-Lewis retired from acting. Didn't hear from him. It was like a couple of months after he retired. We heard about his.
He was a cobbler?
Yeah, his cobbling and
he's cobbling. Yeah.
All the things he does, right?
Uh-huh.
And then he was gone.
Yeah, and now he's back.
No more.
And now he's back.
And now he's back.
And they turned it back on.
He's all over my feed.
Yeah.
And it's not just him. It's like people talking about things he used to do and things he did before. And remember when he did this and blah, blah, blah. And there's always fucking, reliving this and, and fun facts and all this fucking stuff.
I think it'll be interesting when they start promoting the new DiCaprio movie, whether your book ever enters into the conversation or whether they've totally kiboshed that.
Oh my God. Travis Kelce kicked off his partnership with American Eagle today, said, cosmic urgency. Well, hey man, that didn't last long. Well, look, I mean, I don't know what to say about that. I don't understand. I don't know anything about that. It's a weird thing. B Celeste, recap your book. How can I do that? How can I recap my book? I wrote a book. It's pretty good.
You wrote a book about making a 90s film with huge stars in Hollywood.
Here, let me do this. This will be fun. I'll read the back cover. The true story behind America's most infamous independent film and one movie star's obsession with destroying it. The decades-long dispute between indie film producer Dale Wheatley and two of Hollywood's biggest stars comes to a head in this raw, revealing, and often hilarious memoir. Set in 1990s Los Angeles during a golden age of American independent film, Too Real, a Hollywood memoir, follows Dale as he emigrates from Canada to California in search of Hollywood glory. Within months, Dale's accepted into a close group of friends that include some of Hollywood's hottest up-and-coming actors, and they quickly begin collaborating on a low-budget improvisational film. Their experiment succeeds and the film garners interest from major film distributors, but one of the film's stars decides the performances were too real for his aspirations, and he begins a clandestine campaign that will eventually destroy lifelong friendships and careers and ban an American film forever. Blacklisted and broken, Dale finds himself on a new path in life to end the suppression of his work and reclaim his stolen dreams. I wrote that too. As a matter of fact,
I like
it doesn't even sound like me. You know, like I'm like, who the fuck am I right there? I'm just like a mimicry right there. I'm just
I know.
Like fucking straight up mimic. Pedro Pascal is in talks to replace Joaquin Phoenix in the gay Todd Hayes movie. Joaquin.
Oh, I know. Everybody's so pumped. They're like,
oh my God, I fucking love it, man. By the way, and he just worked with him.
Who?
Pedro and Joaquin.
Yes.
I wonder if Joaquin was like, you'd be perfect for it. What if I set you up with them? Like Joaquin could have been like, bro, I need a bro move right now.
What's a little bit tricky is that it's supposed to be a cop who is Pedro Pascal would be playing the older cop who wants to flee the country to live out his romance with his younger same-sex partner. But the guy that they've already cast looks a lot like Pedro Pascal, so it's going to look like they're brothers.
You could call the movie Go Fuck Yourself.
Hey, can I say something about what you just read?
Yeah.
You used the word clandestine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Today on Twitter, there was this person who's like this really like always on
Can I misuse it?
No, listen, this pro Baldoni account.
Yeah.
Who has been just like every single day, like posting 4 times a day, haranguing Blake Lively, but they'll use like evidence to do it, but they totally distort the evidence every time they present it, and she's always a liar. Okay. Well, today they were apparently some of Blake Lively's deposition transcript got unsealed.
Oh.
And
how come I didn't see that?
And
what?
It's just she's
no juicy stuff.
No, it was unsealed. That she was talking about how she doesn't have personal knowledge of how the smear campaign has continued, and so they're using that to make it seem like there was no smear campaign.
Oh.
But of course, she's just answering very factually, where she doesn't. Her lawyers have told her all about what's going on.
Yeah, it's just world.
The lawyers have found evidence, and they told her, but she is. They're asking.
You can take almost anything out of context and build a new story out of it. Yeah.
Anyway, so this account that I'm telling you about, they said that because she used the word clandestine, that they think that that's not a normal word that anybody uses, and so she must be closely coached by her lawyers, because they think that that's a word that a lawyer would use, but it's not a word that a regular person would use. And I just thought that was so funny because Dale, clandestine isn't like a big vocabulary word.
No.
I just thought it was such an adorable way that they told on themselves.
They're
like, look, she's using these big words. The lawyers must have coached her. And I'm like, that's not a big word, actually.
Fucking Cosmic Urgency is pumping the chat with good stuff. Elizabeth Banks is going to play Karen Reed. She's set to star 8 hours ago. Elizabeth Banks set to star as Karen Reed in a limited series about the infamous court case from Prime Video. David E. Kelly. David E. Kelly. That's who.
Who?
That's fucking. What's his? Isn't that David E. Kelly? Let me see.
I don't know what you're saying. That was
no, because I haven't said it, have I? Because I'm a fucking stuttering fool. David E. Kelly. David E. Kelly. You kind of smell, yeah. That's fucking Michelle Pfeiffer's husband. Not just amazing. Well, I don't know if they still married, but spouse, yeah, Pfeiffer since '93. When they got married in '93, I was like, holy fuck, I might have had a shot at her.
I know, it's really funny.
Because I was like, I believed it was only about looks at that point, you know?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer has all of her boyfriends have been kind of like, oh, that guy's really normal looking.
Oh, he scored. Yeah, she's just 100% like personality first, and then she'll like, yeah, we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Absolutely. Like, are you gonna treat me like a human being, and are you gonna make me laugh?
Well, I think Elizabeth Banks is a great choice. She's actually kind of perfect, really. It's great casting. I think she'll absolutely fucking kill this performance. I hope she does. It looks like it's prime, so yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I hope she doesn't try to do an annoying accent.
I wonder what they're going to really do with it in terms of like the angle. Are they just going to they can just do a straightforward, like, you know.
Dude, I bet it's going to be awesome.
Maybe. I'm just really curious about how they're approaching the script on it.
I'm going to watch it for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I hope they don't try and frame her as the guilty party.
Joaquin Phoenix is literally uninsurable.
Yeah, because he walked out of that project, right? Right before it was supposed to film?
Yeah, that would make him uninsurable at all. And as a matter of fact, they probably didn't make any claims on him or anything. They, you know, it's Todd Hayes. It's not like it's some small fry shit. Like, you know, look, Pedro's obviously stepping into the role now. Watch him get nominated. Watch him like Todd Hayes is going to be like, this has to be like, I think he has to prove a point now that shows that this role and what Joaquin Phoenix originally had envisioned for himself, because this was really based on a pitch Joaquin made to Todd Hayes.
This is the same project?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad it's going to survive.
Yeah, man. I was
like, that fucking sucks. So just in case anybody hasn't heard, so Joaquin Phoenix brought a project all the way through development, all the way until they were like, apparently
brought
they were
it to Todd Hayes.
Yes. And they developed it together, and he was like totally
Haynes.
Okay. They developed it together, and it was both of their babies. And then like a week before they were supposed to start filming.
Yeah, they were rehearsing. They were ready. Everything was a go. They were literally Phoenix was like, up and ready to go.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix suddenly out of nowhere was like, sorry, dude, I can't do it. And he bounced.
And it's supposed to be like hot and heavy and like, you know, heavy gay. Like,
yes, but it's not like he was surprised. He had developed the whole thing from scratch.
DiCaprio took it in the ass in Total Eclipse, straight up.
No, I know. We don't know what his reasons were, but he got cold feet, I guess, and he bounced. And all the Hollywood trades were like aghast about it, because it's like such a bad thing to do.
Yeah, that's a nasty thing to do.
They were talking about how he's going to get sued and how nobody's going to work with him again because, you know,
it's so interesting that this is the announcement after these two had worked together and they got this movie coming out.
Yeah, they're not even mentioning it.
Yeah.
That was really controversial what he did.
Well, I mean, as it should be. What a fucking boneheaded move to do.
I know, it's crazy.
B Celeste, you can go. Well, you can buy the book from my website, which is tworealbook.com, and that's actually, you can find that. There's a link to that in, I think, right in the description of this live, or just go to tworealbook.com or go to Amazon. You can pick up the book at Amazon. But if you buy it from me directly, I'll sign it, which fucking means nothing at all. Like, literally.
Do you want to hear from the chat?
Yeah.
Austin was talking about your mushroom photography.
Yes.
Austin said, I am an avid mushroom hunter. I have like 500 mushroom pictures on my phone right now.
Oh, well, I don't have that many, but I do have one you'll love then, because I fucking happened to get a picture of a snail fucking hanging out on the cap of a mushroom in the middle of a trail.
That was so great.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, I found gold. It's a snail.
He's
on
like
the cap
posing.
Yeah. All I had was my camera phone, but I still got a good pic of it.
The snail's up there like, yeah.
Yo, what's up, bro? I was just chilling out here, kind of blazing.
Stefan said, nature is dope, but simultaneously scares the shit out of me, which I think is really relatable and hilarious.
Say what? What was that?
Nature is dope, but simultaneously scares the shit out of me.
Oh my God, Stefan. You don't have to tell me, dude. Look, go out into these rainforests, man. It's so spiritually amazing, but it also is so humbling in the most incredible way. Like when you're in a forest of the immense power and beauty as Carmana Valley or Clockwood Sound, you are amazed at the sheer power and the real like punch in the fucking gut was, wow, I'm just a guest here, bro.
Yeah, totally.
I am just a guest here. Like I am in somebody else's house, and this house is immaculate.
Somebody was sharing stories on Twitter. I should have saved it for you, but they were just talking about like, nobody believes in paranormal stuff, but if you ask like avid hikers and people that are out in nature and forests and stuff a lot, like they all have stories. They all have stories about some fucking weird shit that goes on in the forests, man.
Well, the rainforests are just so, it just feels different than anything you've ever been in. Like you go up into, I've been to Yosemite, I've been to, all the like really like the hot California spots, and nothing has moved me like that rainforest. Even Hawaii or even in Guatemala, I went into the, the jungles of Guatemala and hiked through those, and still as absolutely amazing as the jungles of Guatemala were, or just Tikal and that whole area, and hiking around monkeys and just being in that wild tropical world, as fascinating and wonderful as it was, it still did not hit me in the same way that rainforest does. There's something so incredible about being in a rainforest. And I think as temperate rainforests go, you're really among giants. You're just standing at these trees they're majestic and they're so powerful and they're silent and they're just fucking perfect. It changes your life. It really does. It changed mine forever.
That's super
I've
neat.
never been the same. I was a different person the day I walked out of that forest.
King Gator, we were talking about baseball players and how much money they make.
Yeah.
King Gator said, with that much money, I would buy as much nature as possible to preserve and protect from logging.
Yeah.
That's
Listen,
great.
I wept over the fucking logging. In one of the cool things about Clockwood Sound back in the day, this is 1990, whatever, two, this is when they were actively logging. One of the wildest things about Clockwood Sound, and this is like during the protests that led to the eventual stay of logging of what is today now the largest, most intact ancient watershed in North America, right? Yeah. To get there, you enter clear cut. Now it's all grown again. Like it's now 30 years, 40 years grown. So there are probably, especially if there are redwoods or anything like that in there, which it probably won't. Those are probably all Douglases and of that nature, similar species to Douglas, probably not cedars or, these big red trees. But anyway, my point is that when I went in, the whole fucking, like, it was the wildest thing because you pull up and we found this like side of the dirt road where we parked because it's all logging. It's not a park. And it's clear cut and it is just grotesque. Like the view, it is like a scab, like genuinely a big giant sore. Like it looks so awful. It drains your own life out of you looking at it. For me, it did. I was like, it sickened me. Like I couldn't understand it. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Now this I saw after hiking Carmana Valley, which didn't have logging around it at the time because that was a park.
Yeah.
This was not a park. So then I go up. So then in order to get onto Clockwood Sound, the trail, which was built by a bunch of trailblazers who went out and took fallen trees and then built a cedar trail of boards to get you through some of the roughest stuff.
That's amazing.
Fucking brilliant. Amazing human beings. This is the very same forest, by the way, where we, as young campers, left our stuff out, went on a hike, and a rain cloud came in. We didn't put anything away. And so we were blasting back to get back to our camp because we thought our camp was completely ruined because we had clothes hanging on the line, like on our lines and everything. And somebody had packed up, we had four tents. We had 8 or 9 people with us. And somebody came in and totally packed up our entire camp, locked it completely down. Nothing was wet. We got back drenched, thinking our camp was completely doomed. And somebody had cleaned up our camp and put everything away tidy and like taught us a big lesson at the same time.
I bet they were so irritated while they were doing it. I bet they were so fucking cranky about it. Like these fucking kids with that fucking, they don't know it fucking rains here every day at noon. I can't believe they fucking left all their shit. Now I gotta fucking clean it up.
They were amazing. They were actually the opposite. I'm sure they were more like, these poor guys, I'm going to save them. They're just brilliant human beings.
No, but I love that. Like,
Yeah.
like being grumpy about it while you're doing a good deed is.
Yeah. Fucking idiots. I should leave this out there. Yeah. Some kind of curmudgeon-y graybeard. Well, where I was going was that this hideous scab of a forest, just torn to pieces or whatever. And you have to hike up it. It's probably, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 feet. Not as steep, but not like very high. But as soon as you get up over the ridge, it's just this incredibly plush forest like you've never seen. Oh my God. It was almost as if like a score kicked in.
Yeah.
Like a cinematic, like incredibly moving, inspirational score, like in my head, just because this brilliant rainforest just kind of just reveals itself as you're coming up onto the top of the ledge. And then as you come over it, there's a big giant granite pool that was formed from an earthquake some 100 years previous that drowned several acres, maybe even a few hectares of pines. And
that's so cool.
So like you're in this big plush, like gorgeous forest, and then coming out of the center of it are these like giant gray poles reflected in still black granite water. It was fucking life-changing. Anyway, I've gone on too long about it, but my God.
Fel Bumbling said, it will be interesting to see how content creators who have relied on the Blake Lively hate, how they handle the trial in March once it all starts coming out in her favor.
We're going to be live.
Cosmic Urgency says they'll make videos saying how Justin fooled us all, like they always do when they're wrong.
Andy Signor just put out a video, and I only know this because I was looking for some thumbnail stuff, and his video came up as a return in my Google search. And it was a video that said this was like 4 days ago or something, the genius move of Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman. And it's
come on, bro.
Genius.
I don't know.
This guy's had his lawsuit thrown out.
I know.
He's been rebuked and he's about to be sanctioned.
I'm sorry,
He's
but
going to
that
get
is
his
not
ass handed to him in March. And these guys want to write about his heroism.
I think that if you're saying, you can't say the guy is making genius moves when his fucking lawsuit was thrown out of court. I'm pretty sure that a client would prefer that not happen. Oh my God.
We're going to watch Pearl this weekend.
Yeah, okay.
And State of Grace. That's the double.
Austin wants to know, what about Weapons, the new movie by the Barbarian director?
I have not seen it. I don't have high hopes.
We're going to wait for streaming for all of these new releases. I'm actually super, super bummed about it because I'm currently right now reading The Long Walk again.
Yeah.
And I love it as much as I did when I first read it many years ago.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be able to see it when it comes out in September.
Why?
Because we're going to have to wait for streaming so we can watch it at home.
Oh, yeah. I know it's so hard to believe, but Angela and I are quarantined. We still live the same way everyone else lived back in. But
luckily, the movies they come to streaming pretty fast, so we can watch them.
Yeah, they do come quickly now because they can't wait around for the revenues. What else you got?
Oh, you were going to talk about Joe Alwyn. I don't know who this person is.
Oh, okay. So yeah, let's talk about that. I don't know if Delicate's still with us. Yeah, she's still here. So.
But Cosmic Urgency said, we are not picking on Joe Alwyn.
No. This isn't picking on Joe Alwyn. In fact,
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, so Joe Alwyn, he's like an actor and he's a musician. He co-wrote Exile with Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Do you know that song? With Bon Iver?
Oh, yeah. I know that one, yeah.
I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Off folk songs. Or folk, what's it called, that album?
Folklore. So, anyway, fucking, when you talk about giving up privacy. So this cat was with Taylor Swift for 6 years. They broke up. The insinuation, I don't know the history of their love history or whatever, but the insinuation is that he left her, which is probably true if you listen to her records. So if he left her, it was not long after he left her, I guess months, that she ran into Travis and now they are getting married. And so somebody caught we have a mosquito.
A photo of him or shot him, paparazzi, whatever, somebody trying to cash in on it, of him walking around, I guess, in New York. And he's wearing blue. He's got blue something around. And they're like, well, he's wearing blue.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The photos they've chose.
Not everything is about to show us fucking Taylor Swift. That's crazy.
His head's hanging. By the way, he does look like kind of a skinnier version of Travis. Like a smaller, like not a tight end professional, like a musician version of Travis. And I don't know this guy.
We should just let ex-boyfriends be people in their own lives instead of forever attached to her.
Yeah.
She probably wrote about that in a song.
Well, I don't know the guy. I know the song Exile. He's in a series that I definitely want to see, and I want to see very badly because I've read the book. I'm a huge fan of Sally Rooney. You know that. I haven't read her latest book yet, but I think I'm going to read it next. I just love her.
Yeah.
And she wrote a book called Conversations with Friends that I absolutely loved. It was the book that preceded Normal People, a book I couldn't recommend more. And he stars in that. He's one of the leads.
Who?
Joey Alwyn. I call him Joey.
Cosmic Urgency said Joe Alwyn is Taylor's true soulmate.
Yeah. Well,
he co-wrote more than just that one song, and he produced both Folklore and Evermore. Taylor and Joe will eventually reunite and live happily ever after.
It's like that. They were like, it was deep. They were together for 6 years, like that's, it was a deep relationship. It was a big deal. Well, apparently the TMZ has pictures of him moping and wearing blue and feeling blue and being sad.
So maybe he's
because
sad
the love
about
of
it.
his life is, well, if you love him, you got to let him go sometimes, I guess.
Yep.
Maybe he's sad. He's probably not sad. It's been years.
Have you ever been sad about an ex moving on and getting married and doing their life?
Never.
Never?
No. I mean, I got mad when I found out that my ex had a love affair of the heart. I was like,
oh, while you guys were
yeah.
together?
So I was. My mom had stage 3C ovarian cancer, and I was up in Canada with her while she went through surgery and through the first month of chemo, or not chemo, but the first month of recovery prior to her chemo. And so I'm hanging out with my mom, doing whatever, and I'm on the phone with her, and I'm like, yeah, I'm coming home. She's like, why don't you just stay? I'm like, why don't I just stay? I've been gone a month. I'm your husband. What are you talking about? Stay. I mean, my mom's all right. Everything's stable. She's going to go into chemo soon.
You want me to stay longer?
Why do you want me to stay? So I go home. We split up a month later. Like a month after I'm gone, I'm like, what the fuck happened? And you read a bit about what that was like in the screenplay, I Am Loving You. I kind of modeled it after that whole thing. And then I find out after I moved back to Los Angeles where I would meet you just 2 years later, less than 2 years later. And I found out that she's with this dude that she went to high school with. Right when I left, like in the minute I left, I was like, wait a second. I put it all together because she was like, all of a sudden there were like these phone calls. I straight up asked her about it because she had to admit it because I wanted to move back home. It's a long story. Not to get with her, but I was like, Hollywood kind of stung me again with John Legend and all this nonsense.
Yeah, and you owned a house.
And I owned a house.
Yeah, so you're like,
so
I'm going to move back into my house.
I'm going to go back to my house. I went back to Hollywood. It's a fucking tragedy, and I'm going to move back to Jersey, and I'm just going to go write or whatever, and I'm going to live in my house. I was like, we can be separated. I'll fucking live in the basement. You can live upstairs. I don't give a shit. No, you can't because there's somebody living in my house. I just moved out. 13 years I was married to this woman.
That's fucked up.
She's just fucking.
But I wasn't even asking
about
that.
that. But I didn't give a shit about.
I was asking about exes that have moved on.
No.
Not affairs.
No. I use everything to tell you stories about myself. No.
I haven't felt that way either.
No, when it's over, it's over. I'll see. I mean, when I was like, yes, one time I was in love with this girl called Jody on Vancouver Island. I was going to marry her. She was going to be everything. And we joined a softball team. And on that softball team was a very athletic guy named Donald, who was also a plumber. And I did not think he was as good looking as me, but he was very talented at baseball. And we were playing one day, and he got injured, and we had to take him to the hospital. And she got all protective of him. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And she's like, oh, I'm driving him. I was like, I drove here. You're going to take the car? I mean, I'm going to drive him to the hospital. I was like, why are we even arguing about this? What the fuck is going on here? Like, it was very weird and strange. And then I found out, then we basically, I confronted her. I was like, what the fuck was all that about? She's like, oh, I'm kind of into him. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? We've been married for 4 years. I was about to propose. I mean, we've been, together for 4 years, and I was about to propose.
Good thing you didn't.
So when I found out that she was with Donald, the plumber, who's a very good baseball player, I was very upset about it. I had all the fucking madness, the craziness.
Yeah.
Now, what are they doing right now? Is he touching her? But that was the only time. And I was
it is really tough when your ex makes a very close lateral move to one of the other people in your very close social group. That's always painful.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
I started talking like I just drank 3 coffees, and I don't know why. I don't even feel like it. I'm like, if I just had a coffee?
Why? Because
you're
powered up?
I haven't had a coffee in 5 fucking years. Huh?
You're powered up?
I guess I got powered up. I like this Karen Reed choice. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
Elizabeth Banks, man, I'm a fan of hers.
Stefan in all caps goes, Don Plummer. It is a little weird. That was like a premonition. That was like
Don Plummer.
a prophecy.
Damn you. I had never put that together. It was a prophecy because you know what? It's so funny you should say that because so my, I was writing this thing that Artie Robb wanted me. He was like, I told him this story that I wanted to write, which was basically my love story with this woman, Jody. And that story ends. It's so funny that you say that about Don Plummer because that story ended. When I pitched to RD and he was like, we have to make this movie. I pitched it because the story ends with us breaking up, me and Jody. And she's like, what are you going to do? And this actually happened. She was like, what are you going to fucking do, Dale? Because I was like, I'm going to go. I got to get out of here. I got to get away from you. I got to get away from this island. Because we were on Vancouver Island. I was like, I could get off this island. And she's like, where are you going to go? Don't go. And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, where are you going to go, Dale? And I'm like, I'm going to go to fucking Hollywood, Jody. That's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to fucking Hollywood. And that's where I belong. And I went.
And so it'll be like your childhood memoir will be like a prequel to this one.
Correct. It'll end. The childhood memoir ends with, I'm going to go to Hollywood.
Are you going to have the woe claps in your childhood memoir too at the end?
Maybe.
Dale has this really interesting sequence where he's giving one of the seminar presentations at the Tony Robbins Institute.
Tony Robbins.
So,
yeah.
and you're like giving a presentation and you're being like your self-help guru self. And it's just really funny. And you wrote it and I thought it was really entertaining. And so I'm hoping that you can use that somewhere.
All that stuff is going to be there. I actually wrote lots of chunks. I actually...
It's late. We're in overtime.
I fucking wrote a bunch of chunks of my childhood memoir in flashbacks to this book that never made the cut.
Yes, you just have to organize them.
I have lots of scenes already written and designed.
B Celeste says there is a problem with your website that it wouldn't verify the payment. But are you still making?
That's terrible news.
Are you still making?
Maybe that's why I'm not selling books.
No, because people can buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I'm sorry. I'll tell you what. Send an email. Go to my website and send me an email. We'll get it sorted out. I'll get with Shopify because that's a Shopify store. So Celeste. Go to
what's the website?
Go to the website tworealbook.com or freedonsplum.com. They both go to the same spot. And go to contact and just tell me it's B Celeste and tell me what's happening. And then I'll contact Shopify and we'll get it sorted. Either way, I'll get you a book. You're going to get a book one way or another. I can promise you that. It could be you. She said, it could be me. It could be you. It might be you. If you try again, I mean, I don't know. Shopify is really good at what they do typically. So I don't know what the fucking problem is. That bums me out though, because I want you to have the book. It's super fun. All right. I guess that's pretty much it. Do you have anything else? Mm-hmm. Is that a wrap for you?
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are the greatest. I thank you for having a nice, slow evening with us tonight. It was really casual, old school.
I know, I had fun.
Cosmic Urgency was here. Stefan showed up. If Mandy showed up, it would have been Mandy and Nadine. Just a few missing, right? Tanner wasn't here tonight because he's moving to Chicago. So we missed some of our, our major regulars, but it was kind of like an old school night.
I know, it was fun.
When we were young and we started this thing. When we were kids, I was cleanly shaven. You had long hair. All right, guys, you're the best. You know it. I know you know it. We will see you tomorrow. I hope you'll join us again. We will be live again at 7 p.m.